What's up, you guys, and welcome back to the Can't Be Contained show. I'm so excited. I'm so happy that I have the amazing Jennifer Hudye Moscow on the podcast today. Little backstory. So I originally met Jen when we were both brand new entrepreneurs. I think she was like 20 and I was like 23, something like that. Like we were just starting out. We went for a hike up in Vancouver, Canada, where I'm from. And I remember her sharing that she did this launch, and she was in fitness at the time. She did this launch and I can't remember how much she made, but it blew me away. I was like, wait, what? That's possible? What are you talking about? And Jen has been such an expander for me in business, in wealth, in potentiality, in vision for such a long time. I've never met someone so intentional with really co-creating their life with the universe, with God, and really being a master at lifestyle design. She is known for vision. She has a company called Vision Driven, which is really dedicated to helping leaders clarify and communicate and connect to their next big vision. And as you know, and if you don't know, now you know, vision is the most important foundational piece for success in this life. And Jen has made it her mission to really support leaders and entrepreneurs to really have that rock solid vision so that their dreams can come true. They can build the businesses they desire to build, and really not only just the business vision, but the personal vision as well of like, does the vision that I am building in my business, is it actually congruent with my personal vision? And I know for myself, I remember when I was building Hungry for Happiness back in the day, the company before Pause Breathwork, I had such a clear vision business-wise of what I wanted the business to do, but I never paid attention to my personal vision. So realizing, oh, okay, if I want to scale that quick, there's actually a hidden cost to that, which means I work 16 hours a day. Oh, maybe I don't want that. And so what I love about the way that Jen trains entrepreneurs is she just has a very holistic view on how we can win in every single area of our life. So I'm so excited to have her on today. We got to hang out, record this at my house, and just have a really, really beautiful time. I know you're going to get a ton of value out of this. Jen is one of the female entrepreneurs that I look up to, respect so much for the way that she does business. And I'm so excited to just share her genius on the podcast with you today. And before we dive into that, if you have not signed up for your Go High Level trial yet, my love, let's get on it. I'm like, you guys are probably like, why is Sam talking about this so much? I'm talking about High Level so much because we have moved our entire business from all the platforms not responding, like it was just such a mess, to this one solid platform where I can see the clear view of what my customer is doing through our ecosystem, which has created more sales for us. It has created just better client relationships because we just know where everyone's at. We're really able to serve them on such a deep level, and High Level has been a game changer for us in this. And so I partnered up with them to give you guys a 30-day trial. So if you go to pausebreathwork.com/high-level, that's pausebreathwork.com/high-level, you can get hooked up with that. Try it, get in there. It doesn't matter if you're just starting your coaching business or if you have a pre-existing coaching or whatever business. This platform is such a game changer in just organizing the chaos and giving you peace of mind as a founder. So go to pausebreathwork.com/high-level. All right, let's dive right into today's episode.
Can't be contained.
Jennifer Hudye,
What's up?
welcome to the Can't Be Contained podcast.
About time.
I know the amount of times that this has been on my calendar and then not on my calendar.
I know, same. It's like a year in the making.
I'm like, we'll do it in Austin, and then okay, fine, we'll do it online.
Yeah.
And now we're here.
Now we're
in
here.
Beautiful, sunny San Diego.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I am super pumped to dive in with you and to give the listener some context. One of the things that inspired me so much about you when we first met is just like your insane ability to create your own reality moment by moment. You know, I remember going into your bathroom and just having sticky notes of all of your visions and all of your dreams and all of your goals, all of which have now come true. And it's just so epic to see a woman who
you can't be fucked with. It's amazing. And you do it with so much grace and love and just like such a deep commitment to self. So where'd that come from?
I don't know.
I got it from my, I didn't get it from anyone, actually.
Yeah, I think it is something that has been with me as long as I know. I remember in 8th grade, we had to do this assignment that was like about me. And we had to list like what are our qualities and characteristics in ourselves. And I literally put goal setting. And I think that was because I didn't know what like vision was at the time. I'm like, volleyball, dance, and goal setting. I love setting goals. Yeah. But that has literally been, I think, in my MO for a very long time. Yeah.
One of the things that we were talking about last week in the Life Mastermind was this whole idea of what came up in the space was the women were like, sometimes it terrifies me to set goals or have a vision because I've been disappointed so many times.
Yeah.
Right? Of like, well, who am I? Like, I'm not going to set those lofty revenue goals or like, I'm calling in my man this month or whatever it is because of the disappointment. So do you have like a practice? Like, how do you deal with that?
Yeah. I mean, first off, I think it's so normal to when we're really attached.
Yeah.
And that is, I think, the piece that is what to work on. If there is that particular block when creating a vision, there's many different blocks that I've seen over guiding thousands of leaders over the last 8 years. But with the piece around, I don't want to set it because I don't want to be disappointed. Right. It's being in the practice of not being attached, which is so much easier said than done, right? Yeah. Especially when we really, really, really want something. It's like we grip onto it and it's like, this has got to happen and it's got to happen in my timeline. And as soon as we do that, we limit all of the ways in which it can come to life. Yeah. One of my mentors says, like, don't squeeze the infinite into your own plan.
Ooh, hot damn.
Yeah.
That's so good.
And I think that's what happens when we're really attached to how it needs to look, when it needs to happen, is then there's only a couple ways and we're so obsessed on the gap of not having it. Yeah. And so that's why even, I was telling you right before this podcast that Alex, my husband, and I are in the journey of calling in our next home that we're going to purchase. And I'm noticing myself like, okay, where are the places where I have these like tethers of attachment in how I'm sharing about it, in my energy around it, and how do I just like unhook from those?
Right. I was going for a walk the other day and I was talking to Mandy, one of my friends who's actually been on this podcast. So you guys have context who this is as well. And we were talking about how in our like limited sort of like ego view, we're like, okay, the thing is going to come in this way. Like, let's talk about money in this context, right? It's like, okay, money comes into my world through this way, right? It's like, so for me, it's like the pause breathwork facilitator program or whatever the channel it is. It's like in the infinite, it's like, it is so crazy how many ways in which abundance or homes or things can like come into our world. And how can we just be open to all of the different pathways, like all of the different roads that are coming in and out of our world? It just makes it more expansive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like being committed to the vision.
Yeah.
But being very fluid and flexible on the plan.
Yeah.
That's the game.
I think for me, like rejection, I don't know. I think I have a very healthy relationship with rejection because I was rejected so much and still am so much as a kid. Like as I would go to auditions and they're like, "Sorry, we went the other way." Like I think rejection is I've normalized it as like just part of the path, and I haven't given it meaning, and I think that's helped a lot with just like the disappointment thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, this or something better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's interesting because when we make meaning around it not happening in the time that we want it to happen, I think there can sometimes be like oh, well, fuck it then. God's not got my back.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like that's something in the 10 years that we've known each other. You've been super good with that. And I feel like you have this like playfulness to you of just being like, yeah, like I'm going to like claim it, own it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how, like you really own the fact that like, I don't know how I'm going to make it happen, but I'm going to go after it. And I think that is such an important piece. And especially as women, like it's so easy for perfectionism to creep in. And that's something I've like worked on a lot and I'm still working on, where when we hold like way too high of a bar for ourselves and how it needs to look, then we're just slowing down our growth and what we can actually create, and being able to see what's right in front of us, like the raw materials.
100%.
Yeah.
What's fascinating is sometimes when it comes to like vision work or manifestation, you know, there's like this feeling of like, okay, this is what I desire, and then we hold the energy, hold the momentum, like just work it every single day, and then it happens. And then my experience sometimes is like, how did I do that? You know, it's like, I'm like, wait a second, how did I do that? Like I'm rebuilding our sales department right now. And I had this vision of like exactly what I wanted it to look like, and the vibe and the feel and the everything. And then this morning on our Monday morning meeting, we were playing like that song, like girl, like who run the world, and we're all like dancing. And I had this like out of body experience where I'm like, where did you guys all come from? Like it was this moment of like, I set the vision 4 months ago. This is what I want. I wanted like team of like high performing sales ninjas who like absolutely crush it, who have so much fun, who get the vision. And then like this morning it was like, oh my God, here it is. And then in that moment, it's like recognizing like it's here, like gratitude, like let me be so grateful that like it actually happened. And for me, it's like the pausing and the embodiment of like let's not move on to the next thing, but let's really be in the practice of gratitude to inform God, like, thank you, like more please. Yeah. Or else we can just kind of get caught in the never enoughness.
Yeah. And I think about like the woman who may be listening to this and she's like, that's awesome, but like I'm in friggin' transition or don't know.
Okay, well let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay, you're somebody that I call when I'm in crisis.
Crisis hotline.
You are my crisis hotline.
Hello.
I'm serious, and I love you for that.
Likewise.
Like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I feel so grateful. I feel like our relationship has so much range that we can meet each other in so many different pockets. So when I'm sharing my crises with you, I feel like you take in the whole picture, and it's like so helpful. So thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like,
I don't know, how do we sit in these
I don't know, however you want.
You look cool. I'm kind of trying to figure out.
I'm like doing like little cross-legged.
Okay.
We give these chairs a 4 out of 10.
If you're not watching the video right now, it's probably better. Okay. Trying to figure out how to look cool. Okay.
So I called you in a little bit of a crisis because I felt really frustrated with just my business and like the way that I had structured it and the way that I had set it up. And what I realized, like in hindsight on the other side of it, is like a version of me 7 years ago built the structure of what Pause was. And although it was working and revenues were high and like clients were happy and everything, it wasn't conducive to my excitement. There's no other way to put it. I'm like, I've lost the excitement of how I used to run it, of just like pure like joy and fun and play and excitement and this and that. And now I'm like, what? It's too complicated. And so you and I were talking and you gave me like the most like sound advice ever and just normalized the transition. You're like, you get to scale it back and rebuild from alignment. And there was something in that permission. I was like, oh yeah, shit, I do get to do that. And I realized that when we take our intuition as founders outside of our business too far, the whole thing fucking crumbles. And so it's like, it's the most valuable thing that we can do is like press pause, no pun intended, and put our intuitions back on the board of directors and start asking myself, like, is this actually aligned, right? And we are going through a gigantic transition in so many ways at the moment. And I wasn't alone in that.
Yeah. Well, and so with your scenario, I think one of the things that is super common for entrepreneurs is sometimes we outgrow our business. And so, yeah, we show up and we built it from the level of consciousness from the beginning, and we like lived into the vision. But then when we're constantly evolving and changing and the new vision has shifted, we need to restructure the foundation. And that can feel like so uncomfortable, because the more success, the more we assume that we need to like have all of our shit figured out, and our egos kind of get wrapped in the, you know, what is, okay, if I restructure things, what is that going to mean? What is it going to look like? And so, yeah, I think like we were talking about earlier, we are in one of the biggest transitions in human history right now. And from like, whether it's technologically, with AI, it's estimated that there's 350 million jobs that will be transformed or removed in the next several years globally.
Wow.
Because of AI, right? And I think everyone is feeling the disruption of it and how it's impacting and shifting things. And then economically, I mean, there's, especially in the US, but I think globally, there's been a pullback in certain industries, which has been predicted because our world and our economy operates in cycles. There's macro cycles and micro cycles. And so right now we're on the tail end of an 80 to 90 year cycle where it's kind of like, some people call it the winter season, where it's like a pullback in preparation for springtime. But that can feel really scary. And then astrologically, I am not an astrologer. I like to read my horoscope sometimes. But, you know, we just stepped into the Aquarian age, which is a 20-year cycle. And a lot of people talked about the preparation that there was going to be a shift in 2020 and it was going to accelerate 2025, 2026, which is all around rebuilding new structures. So we see on the external that there's so much happening in the world, but I see so many people internally going through our own versions of different transitions, whether it's in our health, our career, our business, our relationships. And it's like, how can we do this transition well? And I think you've been, like, when you and I have been on calls and just going back and forth, it's been so beautiful for you to witness, or me to witness you like leaning in to how you're going to do the transition well, and taking it as an invitation and taking it as, okay, yeah, there's been some longing and discontent around how I operate. And I know one of your highest values is freedom and aliveness. And it was like, that was not conducive to your values. And so you made a shift, but it can feel scary as hell. So 100%. Scary. 100%. Like when we're in it. Yeah, what was so interesting is the actual tangible actions of making the shift were really easy. You know what I mean? I like went through my P&L. I'm like, cut that, move that, shift that. Like, it was very much just like almost robotic, the actual actions of what I did. But it was the year leading up to that moment that was so stressful. And let's talk about that. Like, what about it was so... What was going on in your inner world and your external world where you were having that like internal rumbling of like, I feel like something needs to shift? What were the thoughts? The
thoughts were, if I take my like foot off the gas, we're going to go backwards and we're not going to be, it was very egotistical. It was like, I'm not going to be leading the industry like I used to, which is not true. It's just like, or like, what are people going to think if I'm not doubling my growth every single year? What are people going to think if I pull back and realign for a little bit, you know? And it was all such like fear-based, egotistical, revenue-driven things that don't even matter at all. And yeah, it was just like, it was that, you know? It was just that.
So is it like those conversations on repeat internally while you were continuing to navigate your business?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm doing my business. I'm showing up. like there's this part of me that's like, I love the work that we're doing in the world, but I don't love how it's structured. I don't love like I don't have my perfect calendar, as Clea Bear would say, right? It's like I'm on meetings constantly. I'm managing this. I'm putting out fires here. It's like I'm not built for that. Like I don't love that. So I need to get myself back in my zone of genius of speaking, writing, creating, doing what we're doing now. Like that's what I love to do. And I can't do that when I'm trying to manage 41 people.
Yeah.
So let me figure out what I need for them. Like, I think it was you that said this. Get rid of anything that's not mission critical. That was you. Yeah. Yeah. So I got to do that of like, what is not absolutely mission critical? What is a nice to have, but is not mission critical? And I just got to view my business in a completely different way. But the months leading up to that, it was just like the fear of like, I'm disappointing people. People have believed in me and I've taken them on. Now I'm going to let them down. It was all of that stuff, which, you know, it's like what's good for our alignment is good for the world. If I'm self-sacrificing, then I'm going to show up to my business every day and I'm going to be resenting it.
Yeah.
You know, like my human design is a projector. When I'm not in my projector energy, the shadow side of that is bitterness and resentment. So if I'm showing up bitter and resentful every single day, people are going to feel that, what the hell am I even doing?
Yeah.
I might as well go work at State Farm Insurance. You know what I'm saying? So it's like...
Good gig. Yeah.
They have free pizza on Fridays. I heard.
I think that's great. Yeah.
And I think you get a discount on insurance.
So I have a question for you on that because like I've been there too. And I know in my own rumbling, I was like trying to discern, do I like, did you ever have a thought of, okay, I just need to lean into this season because it's a crunchy, hard season. You know, there's some books that call it's like there's like wartime CEO-ship and then I don't know what the other one is, playtime or something.
Yeah.
But essentially, like sometimes in business, like we gotta put on our big girl pants and like go and be like, okay, we just need to really lean into whatever's here. And then there's other times though where it's like, okay, I've been leaning into this and it hasn't been working and maybe there's another option or how did you discern that? Because I think there may be some women that are listening too that could be like in the illusion that it's always going to feel good.
Sure.
And you have built like such an extraordinary business, like tens of millions of dollars over the last decade plus, and you've had your fair share of things aren't always going to feel good. So how did you know that this time was different?
Yeah. I think the greatest lesson I've ever learned is to discern the difference between pain and suffering.
Oof.
It's honest, it gives me goosebumps even sharing that.
Quick little pause here because I need to let you in on something that has honestly changed how I run my business. It was so overwhelming. We had so many different tools, emails, funnels, scheduling things, pipelines, payments. It was honestly such a mess. And then I discovered Go High Level. It's literally an all-in-one platform where I can run my entire business under one roof. You guys, it feels so good to go into one platform and see all of our dashboards, the money that we make, the clients that came in, where everybody is. It is so clean and so easy. The automated follow-ups are amazing. The landing pages are amazing. You can even run your memberships and online programs on Go High Level. It's honestly freaking awesome. It doesn't just save me money. It has given me back my sanity in my business because I have complete clarity and confidence where everything is. So if you've been looking for a way to streamline your business, to scale faster, to remove the headaches of like tech and all of that complication and just get back to doing what you freaking love, I have partnered with Go High Level to give you guys a 30-day experience so you can test drive it yourself, see how you love it. Just head on over to pausebreathwork.com/high level. That's pausebreathwork.com/high level. I will also put the link to the free trial in the show notes. And seriously, once you see how powerful this is, you're gonna wonder how you freaking ran your business without it. So go to pausebreathwork.com/high level.
I was suffering and I was being a masochist by trying harder. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I think as like high achieving entrepreneurial women, sometimes we wear it as a badge of honor of like, I worked so hard to do this and now look at this badge of honor. We're just being masochistic. Like, stop fucking burning yourself and just go build something that's more aligned. And so I know the difference somatically in my body of suffering and pain. There's things in my life right now that are highly painful, but I know it's the necessary medicine in order to move through the lesson that is here for me, like $1 million tax bill, for instance.
Yeah.
Right? Versus like, oh, this is painful, and I'm going to get the lessons from this so that I can move on and have the knowledge and the wisdom. That's the sensation of pain is just like pain. Suffering is this experience where like you're trudging through and you're like, just one more day, just one more quarter, just one more launch, where like your body's actually not good. Like you're suffering, you're suffocating yourself. And so I needed to learn that construct when it came to just healing in general, you know, like just personal development in general. Relationships, for instance, I think there's a big difference between like, am I suffering in this relationship or am I healing? Is this a healing experience, right? Is this suffering and toxic, you know, or is this like healing and growth?
Totally.
And we can have the same. So I learned that in relationships, right, in my last relationship. And then I'm learning, you know, I'm learning it through my business now. And I realized, I'm like, oh shit, I'm playing out the same masochistic bullshit that I was playing out in my last relationship in my business. Fucking stop it. Like I will move through pain if it's in alignment all day long. But the second it's out of alignment and that pain goes to suffering, I'm out. I'm not doing that to myself anymore because I know what it feels like to work really hard at something that's aligned. You know?
Yeah. That's super good. So being able to discern, and I think, yeah, it's such an unlock for women of like suffering and pain. For me, one of the things I ask myself is, will this feel good to having done it? Like on the other side. So like a workout, for example. Like sometimes I'm in the middle of it. I'm like swearing and like, I hate this, but I'm like, okay, but at the end of this, am I going to feel really proud of myself because I did it?
I did it, yeah.
And I had an experience a few years ago around my business where, and then even a version of it recently where I asked myself, okay, if I was to like 4 or 5x the current model, would that feel good having done that? And the answer was no. And I'm like, then why am I doing it? Like, okay, this is the path I'm on. And so that's a clear sign that I don't even want to arrive to that particular outcome.
Right.
So what am I doing?
What am I doing? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see and to track what are actually my visions and goals versus the visions and goals of the seeds that were planted in my consciousness from mentors, family, society that I don't really care about.
Yeah.
You know? And that was a really interesting untangling process for me as well of, you know, everyone's like, you could build this and exit for $500 million and it could be like this. And I'm like, but I don't want to play that game. I want a highly profitable, like cash positive business where I can be highly creative and I get to work with women who are spiritual healers who want to change the world, make a lot of money. I want to have a lot of fun. I don't want to play the game of build it and exit and make a ton of money and then do what? I would just come back and fucking build the same thing again. So why don't I just not do that? Take the profits of my business, invest everything into Bitcoin.
This is not a financial recommendation.
Do not take my financial advice, please. But like that for me was
you need to add a disclaimer right there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
By no means is this episode a financial recommendation.
Like, Sam, I lost it all in Bitcoin. I'm like, sorry.
Yeah.
But whatever, right? It's like, how can I then take the profits and continue to grow it, to build a beautiful lifestyle and have this amazing business that is highly profitable, super fun, super aligned with me. My intuition is driving it. I don't have all of these like investors and advisors and people telling me what to do every 5 minutes, which was my experience a couple years ago of like, I had this like very masculine leadership team. I love them all dearly, but like there was no room for my fucking intuition. You know, it's like, we can't do that because of this. And I'm like, guys, no, like, no. So I learned that lesson through that of like, I need to hire people who like are super aligned with my vision of like not building this to exit it and growing it. Like I don't want to play that game. It's not fun. We were on that trajectory and I was like, I want to opt out from that.
Yeah. I think there's such a distinction there, and it's a mentor of mine and I talk about this quote a lot, and it's actually how I name my business Vision Driven. But the quote is, we don't go to our vision, we come from our vision. And I think that's one of the biggest shifts of going from, I have this little process, and it's just like the 3 stages of entrepreneurial evolution. First stage is condition driven, where we unconsciously build our business around our insecurities.
Ooh.
And we all go through it.
Yeah.
These are like psychological stages that we go through no matter what. And they're a little bit of like a rite of passage, but not all entrepreneurs get to stage 3. I know people doing $100 million in stage 1, but it's building the business around our insecurities. Stage 2 is achievement driven. And it's the idea that the vision is we go to it, and it's someday, one day, I'll arrive to it.
Yeah.
And we don't consider much about the journey along the way. And I also sometimes call it the chasing the carrot syndrome.
Yeah.
And then third is purpose driven or vision driven, because branding.
Yeah.
But the idea that it's like, okay, how do I design the vision for my life and my business to where we got to have a compelling vision for the future that we feel pulled towards, but also how do I make sure that I design it that I actually enjoy the journey along the way, and that I'm setting up my life to be sustainable, so that I'm not just sacrificing everything. And I think I think it's equally important for men and women, but I think there's so many women in the entrepreneurial world that are feeling this, especially lately, where we're kind of like, we have been trying to build within a system that is not conducive to how we naturally operate.
Totally.
And there's a lot of like waking up to the fact
100%.
of this has got to feel different, because this
100%.
isn't sustainable. It's not life-giving. And I'm not going to sacrifice everything.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be sacrifices no matter what. Anytime we set a vision, everything has a cost. Every future has a cost. So even if you're not setting any sort of vision, the cost of that, like for example, if you're like, okay, I don't give a shit about my health. Well, great. The cost of that is probably you're going to get some sort of ailment down the line.
Yeah.
If you are allowing yourself to just have whatever you want, whenever you want, not working out. If you're like, I want to have extraordinary health now and in the future, the cost of that is you got to make the decisions aligned to that vision.
Yeah.
But it's like making sure that we're not putting the things that we value most and sacrificing those things
100%.
for
100%.
the vision. And so I think like the value piece, and you got really clear on that, was key.
I love that framework. I resonate with it so much because I see myself at both of those stages. Like I see myself at like the insecurity stage of like literally the whole reason why I became an entrepreneur at the start was because I had the most massive crush on someone who was an entrepreneur, and I was like, that sounds like a good thing to do.
Yeah, I love it.
Like, my first like 2 businesses before Hungry for Happiness, I was like, I will get his attention if I become an entrepreneur. I shit you not. It's someone that you and I both know. I'm not going to name his name, but you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. I'm not just kidding.
Should we tag him? Oh my God, Steph, he's literally one of my best friends today, which is so weird because I would never date him. But anyways.
There's something even better still came into your life.
Exactly. And then the achievement, which I feel like was, I would say the building it on my insecurities was like the first 3 years of entrepreneurship. And then I think the achievement was like the 3 to 4 years after that. I now feel like I'm coming into this like fulfillment stage of like, if it doesn't juice me from the inside out, I'm out. Like, I just don't want to do it. I just don't want to. And what's interesting is like, when it comes to like, okay, let's talk about women for a second. So like women's health, women's bodies, like men were studied way earlier. Like there's so much more research on a man's body than there is a woman's body, right? So we're now learning about that. Women in business, we know what it is, we know what it looks like for a man, and we're like, oh, let me copy the guy. And now we're like finding our way in that, right? Like women and wealth. We know how guys make money, but like how do women make money? Like all of this is all new. And I think what women are feeling is burnout. And so we're feeling burnout and we're like, I gotta friggin' do this another way. Like there's gotta be a next chapter of this. And I think we're all, to your point, like we're all like exploring and figuring it out. I just got so clear, like 6 months ago of like, I am not letting my ambition override my nervous system anymore. Like I'm just done with that. And if that means I'm going to make less money, that's a trade I'll make every single day of the week, you know?
Yeah. And I think it comes even back to the beginning of our conversation of the attachment. It's like detaching from it's going to look this way and then being open and available to it looking a different way and being okay that you don't know exactly how that looks, but you're going to trust yourself enough to know how you're going to navigate it.
100%. 100%. Yeah. You know, I think self-trust is a huge, trust in general, I think is such an important ingredient in entrepreneurship. I'm going to speak specifically to females for a second because we have like an insane intuition that we can just do whatever we want with. But the whole trust in self and trust in God. I think being an entrepreneur is one of the most spiritual things that we can possibly do. Like for me, it is the most important thing. Like it is number one. It's like my business is my spiritual assignment, number one. And then teaching people how to use their lungs is number two. You know what I mean? It's like it shapes me, it molds me into everything that I need to be in this life to fulfill my soul's purpose. It's so clear to me. It's like my business every single day pokes on all of my insecurities every single day, and then pokes on, or like what is it, like tickles all of my like, you're amazing, or whatever. What do you even call that? I don't know. My like whatever. And every single day, it's how do I stay neutral in this? Like how do I stay neutral and connected to my truth? And how do I trust myself as all of this is happening around me and not being attached to any of it and just going, okay, all of this is content for my evolution. How can I use all of it? You know, the people online who are like, you're amazing. The people online are like, you're a piece of shit. Okay, it's all content for my evolution, you know? And those two things happen in the same minute, obviously, all the time, right? But it really is, for above anything, it's a spiritual assignment and such a practice of trust, of like trusting that I am actually connected to this infinite intelligence that is feeding me information moment by moment, breath by breath. And no matter what, as long as I stay connected to that, I can't actually screw this up.
What are some practical tools that you use to, like say when you're not feeling trusting of yourself or you're not feeling trusting of God, to get you back into that
I scream
zone?
at him.
Yeah?
No,
okay.
I actually did that once and it worked. I was in
You behave!
God, get your shit together! To actually answer your question, practical is just like asking myself, what are the things that I do to remind myself that I'm not just human? And I'm not plugging pause breath work, but like breath work.
Totally.
You know, it's like I can be feeling so human, so muted, so in scarcity, so in fear, so in my parts. I could just be in a state, and then 20 minutes later, I could be in a state where I'm like, the sunshine is literally shining out of my ass and everything's all good. And it's so wild how nothing in the 3D changed. It's my perception that changed. And so whenever I'm feeling, like whenever I'm sitting at my desk and I'm feeling that like anger, resentment, I'm in a child part, I now have the discipline to go, I am not going to go on Slack because I don't want to Slack attack my team and tell them that they're doing everything wrong. I'm going to go to my mat and I'm going to take 20 minutes and I'm going to recalibrate to a higher frequency that's more connected to God so I can actually remember that I'm safe. I think understanding how to feel safe as an entrepreneur is one of the greatest gifts that we can give ourselves.
Totally.
Because it can feel really unsafe a lot, right? There's so much responsibility. There's so much financial risk. There's so much of that. It's
so important. Yeah. Yeah, I have definitely had moments where I would catch myself trying to outsource my sense of safety, whether it was to my bank account, like looking and being like, okay, I have I feel solid because there's X amount and like, therefore my nervous system is calm, or like, cash crunch. Now don't, or delegating it to like my husband, you know, he should be the one that, you know, is, and I had that awareness this year that I've been constantly just doubling down on, that it's my responsibility
100%
to create that attunement in my own nervous system.
How did you do that?
So much of it is somatic work, where quite simply, like wherever I'm feeling the discomfort, I put the short version is I put my hand on wherever I'm feeling the sensation strongest. Say if it's like in my stomach, that's where it shows up most for me. And then I just see how much acknowledgement and presence I can give to that part, to where I can feel it respond to me. Usually I know that it's responding when I start yawning, you know, like the nervous system yawns, where I'm like, oh, okay, my vagus nerve has been stimulated.
Stimulation in action.
Yeah, and then I'm just like, okay, you're safe, girl. And then I just ask, like, is there anything that you need in this moment? And then sometimes it's, you know, sometimes it's like more basic stuff, and it's like I need to go on a walk, or I need a 5-minute break. And then sometimes it's just like hearing that part out and really giving it a voice. And I think for me, more than anything, is slowing down, because I get most of my life I'm going so fast, and I'm learning to slow down.
So I had this like really wild meditation the other day, speaking of slowing down, where I was in meditation, and all of a sudden this hand was doing this, like out of nowhere. It was so weird. It's like bringing back the memory as well. And my hand was doing this, and I'm like, what the frick is that? And like, it wouldn't stop. Like, I wasn't doing it.
You know what that means?
What? What? That I'm gay? What does that mean?
I don't know. I just you said it. No. I'm just kidding.
Guys, for the record, imagine if they just clipped that part. It's just me saying I'm gay. It all makes sense. She hangs out with women all the time. She must be super gay. And I'm like, what the heck is that? And I was like kind of ignoring it at first. I'm like, why is my hand doing that? I'm like trying to stay focused. I'm like, just hands just like going like this. And then finally I just turned into it, and I gave my hand my full presence and awareness. And it was this like wave of energy that, I shit you not, felt Japanese. It was like this Japanese energy, this Japanese transmission that came in. It sounds crazy, but it was so wild. And I literally got to feel the slowing down and intentionality of the Japanese culture that was like downloaded into my body. I'm getting like goosebumps even sharing this. But and the message that I was getting was like, it's not actually slow. It's just presence. You know, it's like, it's not actually like we're going slower. We're attuning to the presence of the pacing of how life is, which allows us to actually feel and sense and get way more information. Because when we're overriding presence, we're overriding the intelligence. So we're actually doing more harm than good to ourselves and to everyone around us.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dang. Because I think for me, I was like, I'm like you. We go fast. We do things. Rome was built in a day. Okay, guys? Don't tell me that it wasn't. And so slowing down is like, that's so boring. I'm going to fall behind. So in that transmission, I got to rewire that the quote unquote slowing down is just coming to presence. And when we're in the flow of presence, that's where all the gifts are. That's where all the knowledge is. That's where all the intelligence is. And if we can just train our nervous systems to be in that intentional pacing and presence, the river is literally going to carry us.
That's deep.
So wild.
Yeah.
It was weird.
That's really powerful.
And maybe I'm still gay. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's in the water. They say don't drink the water. A lot of women are becoming gay these days.
Should we talk about that?
No, it's just an interesting note. You know? Yeah. Anyway. That's our next podcast. That's the X-rated one.
Part 2.
That's part 2.
Yeah, I feel that though, the constant wanting to be a couple steps ahead. I once did surf lessons, and it became very apparent that was my motive operandi, because I would always be early every time I was trying to catch the wave. And then it was ineffective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Transitions though. So
Yeah, man. It's
I think it's an art of how to do a transition well in life, like where we're between worlds. When we're, in your case, like with the business model restructuring, even, when we're kind of going from, I can even know with my husband and I, the year before we got married, and we were like in that transitionary period where we could feel that we were moving from fiancehood to marriage. It was like all of our shit came up. And one of our coaches really highlighted, she said, like, first normalized it. And it's like anytime we're going kind of in between worlds, anything that needs to rise up for us to move through, work through, internally, externally, in order to unlock the next level is going to come up.
Yeah.
And I think embracing that and normalizing it, because it can feel so uncomfortable. I know for me, it's like, felt, I was like super hard on myself.
Can you talk about the way that you use vision as an anchor to anchor you so that the turmoil doesn't feel so...
Yeah, I think it's having a clear vision is obviously, I believe, one of the most important elements of being a human, because we're here to evolve. And if we don't have a vision pulling us forward, then we're going to continue to repeat in our patterns over and over and over again. And the vision is what actually pulls us out of that loop. It is like if you're looping, it is like a pattern interrupt. And it reminds us, okay, I can move through this. And it's actually seeing whatever circumstance, challenge, situation is in front of you as the raw materials required to build the vision. And obviously my line work in the world is all around helping people clarify the vision, communicate it, create it. But specifically in the clarification part, I think so many people get caught up with this idea of perfection, of, okay, I got to have all of the pieces before I can get moving. And the answer is no, you don't. Like, you just need a few core pieces around what you want your future to look like so that you can get moving and taking action on it. And if you don't know, the best place to start is what you don't want, which is kind of like the opposite of some of what the manifestation world says. But what you don't want is just as valuable as what you do want.
I love that.
And it's so much easier for us to access that usually, right? So it's like, okay, say if you're like, okay, this isn't working with my business. What don't I want? You make the list and get really specific, and then simply ask yourself, what's the opposite of that?
Oh, baby.
And then once you ask what the opposite of that is, great. You have some, frames to then build out the type of life that you want instead. But as soon as you have some clarity around the vision, you got to get moving. And I've found that my vision becomes more clear when I'm in consistent action. If I'm not in consistent action, then I'm just, it's kind of like Google Maps. When you like type in somewhere where you want to go, but you're walking somewhere and then you're standing still, and then the Google Map is like, it's kind of like figuring out what direction you are, and it's like, go to the left, no, go to the right, and then it's but as soon as you start moving, whether you're going in the wrong direction or not, it's like, oh, boom, turn around, actually go the other way. And the same thing happens when it comes to clarifying what it is that we want, and being able to trust that you have enough breadcrumbs to get moving, and we don't go to the vision, we come from it.
It's so
how can we operate as if? That's the real game.
You know what I started doing recently? Again, I'm like, I did your retreat 2020 2022, something like that. Which was so
I think
great.
it was 2021.
Was it 2021?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Life is going so quickly.
Yeah.
And what I started doing in the morning and in the evening is reading my vision every single morning.
Yes.
Before I get out of bed and right before I go to bed, and just feeling the vision in my body and letting the energy just like marinate in every single cell, and just it like sets my energy for the day. And it's so wild because I just redid it and it's super fresh. And now I'm like at work or I'm in my life and these things are popping up out of nowhere. I'm like, I know it's because I have like embedded that frequency in my system and I'm calibrating to an entirely new reality, and my energy is actually creating this, and I don't have to force so much and hustle so much. It's wild.
It's the biggest unlock.
Dude, it's so crazy. Like,
Yeah.
I remember being, when I was still working in the restaurant, making $30,000 a year, and I was listening to Wayne Dyer's Meditations for Manifestations. Did you ever listen to that one? Oh my gosh, it's on YouTube. I'll link it in the show notes for you guys, but it's like, it's a sound meditation. So he like breathes in and he's like, ah, and you like use the sound of ah as you're visualizing your thing, because the sound of ah is the sound of creation. It's this whole thing. But it was crazy because I didn't, when I was working in the restaurant and had like no savings, no nothing, all I had was vision and like a belief that I could do it. I didn't have anything else to show for it. And it fucking worked, you know? And then what's interesting is like, it worked. The business was growing, doubling revenue year after year. It was so crazy. And then I got to this point where I was like, now I have this massive machine, and I stopped relying so much on vision. And I stopped relying so much on like being able to
It's
create
just
it.
you went into maintenance mode,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
what we so often do.
Yes.
Is we receive it and then it's like, okay, let me just maintain.
Yes.
And then that's where we fall into kind of this
Yes.
condition-driven operating
Totally.
system, where then we just drag our past.
100%. And so
our
about a
future.
year ago, I was like, enough of that. Like, let's set the bar high again. Like, let's play again. Like, let's use the magic of this freaking universe to just like make things fun. And then it all happens. It's wild. It's wild.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's like,
I think God gave us one of the greatest gifts, which is self-agency. Our ability to choose.
so good.
And so many people forget that. And I forget it multiple times a day. Some, where it's just like, this thing is happening to me. But recognizing that we literally get to design our future however it is that we want.
Yeah.
Now, are there going to be curveballs or things that are presented to us from God, life, that we didn't see? 100%. And we still have a level of self-agency of how we choose to show up to it.
Totally.
And I think that, it's so easy to forget it.
Yeah. And our job is to remember. Remember. Because it's actually so easy doing it that way, and it's so hard doing it the other way. Through like controlling and forcing and hustling and grinding. It's so hard doing it. It takes so much output, so much energy. Whereas we can be tapped in to alignment, tapped into God, and then it's like, oh, so much easier this way.
Yay.
Dude, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having
This is
me.
so great.
We did it.
We did it.
It happened.
This is perfect.
The vision is made reality.
I feel like those things happen because it's like, this was the moment that we needed to have. This was the conversation that we needed to have at this particular time. It's so perfect. Where can we find you and get amongst your work and learn more about the Jenn Hudye Moscow? You're hyphenating now, right?
For now.
Yeah.
I'm going through a rebrand, right? Where eventually my plan is to drop Hudye.
Yeah.
So just Jennifer Moscow, but I've spent the last decade as Jennifer Hudye, and most people know me as that.
Yeah.
So I think it would be a little confusing if I just switched it and they're like, who
Who
is
dis?
she?
New phone, who dis?
Yeah. So website is visiondrivenglobal.com. And Instagram you can check out at Jenn Hudye, Hudye.
Amazing.
Yeah.
No dashes, no underscores.
No,
you just
just
got the real deal.
Jenn
You got the real deal.
Hudye.
Amazing.
Hudye.
Amazing.
Yeah.
We'll put all that.
Thanks
in
for
the show
having
notes.
me.
Oh my gosh, thanks
That's
for
so
coming.
sweet.
This is
Yeah.
so great. Hey.
Can't be contained.